Having some technical difficulties. I'm hoping that you guys can hear me now. My volume. I'll see if someone comes on if I need to restart this. But I think it should be okay now. Gosh, I saw this sticky stuff on my coat. Or my little drawer here. Kids, kids they get their little sticky hands on stuff. Oh, and I hope y'all can hear me. Mama, can you hear me? Drink my water. Okay. Oh, I love water. YouTube on this shadow banning, it's getting a little crazy. Whoever is out there, me, let me know if you can hear me. Is the volume? Can you hear me speaking at all? Give me a yes or a thumbs up if you can hear my voice. I'm not sure. Hello, anyone there? I guess I'll just start. I'm not really sure if anyone can hear me. But so I wanted to talk about Kanye West. It looks like he's he's unwell, okay? But I don't want to make an excuse for this man. I think that the things he's saying, I think he really means a lot of that stuff. Like, people are calling him a Nazi sympathizer, which I would definitely agree with. Just talking about him, honestly, in this moment just makes me feel drained. Like, I just feel drained already, even talking about him because he's just so negative. I guess like how people nowadays, the best way I could phrase it is how people nowadays use the term low vibrational. Like, he's like a low vibrational entity. And, excuse me, it's really sad because at the same time, like the stuff he's saying, I really wish he would please stop saying Jesus behind that stuff. Stop using the Lord's name, because the sorry, I'm looking out for my daughter. She's on medication, but I was just listening to her. She was coughing a bit, but I really wish he would stop using God's name in that stuff. Please stop using Jesus, because it doesn't even like make sense to use his name and the topics and the things he's talking about. I feel like he's just kind of just saying his name, which really disturbs me. And I don't want people to think that his behavior in any way like coincides with Christianity or anything Christ like, because he's not like, he is not a good representation of Christians. I just, it's just disappointing to see. And a few months ago, this wasn't even that long ago, I heard that there was someone working with Kanye. Either the person was someone that was working with him, I believe in fashion or with the shoes, or like like how those celebrities connect with brands, or I believe the person was like someone in his own camp. I don't remember exactly, but I believe it was a woman. This person said this a few, maybe a month, maybe 3 months ago. This person said Kanye West had some obsession with Hitler and Nazis and stuff, and his team tried to clear it up quickly. And I heard that he actually paid this woman off. If you look back, you will even see like articles on it. Like after the person said they was gonna come out and like say stuff, I guess leak this stuff. Um, but Kanye's team and Kanye reached out to that person and paid them off, and then all of a sudden the story just started disappearing. Like it was starting to, how these people do it, these celebrities and their teams, how they get on top of these things. So it, I remember actually hearing about this a while back, and I was like, this seems really dark. But now, fast forward to now, we see that it's very much true. So, what is the point of you paying the person off for their silence only to come out later to say these things and confirm it? Like, what's the point of you paying them off to shut them up? Like, I just don't understand. If he was gonna do this anyway, like, maybe in his head it makes sense, but Kanye West doesn't make a lot of sense in general. I'm just super confused. And it's like, I've seen people making videos about him today, and it's kind of sad because some people are using the word, oh, he's taken out of context. They're taking what he says out of context. And, but it's still hard to defend him. Like, why should we be defending him? You know, I really am very, I feel personally insulted as a Christian to see him like saying these very hateful, anti Semitic, and racist things all the time, and these people giving him platforms, and he's using Jesus's name behind all of this, and it's very disturbing. And I really personally take offense to that. I'm personally offended by that, and he's done it numerous times. You've seen him in the most like horrible type of situations where he's smearing someone or some group, and then after he comes out he uses God's name. You know, I know Kanye West is not the antichrist, and I don't want people to misconstrue my words when I'm about to say this, but he definitely has antichrist antichrist spirit. He is not our people. Like, he's not a part of the flock. Like, he's not. That's why I think he's very dangerous, because people can see him saying God's name and pulling up scripture in the Bible, bringing the Bible with him, and misunderstand and think that he is. Because what Christ like person, what person in the body of Christ is going to be acting like this? No one, you know? Know them by their fruits. God said that in his word. And I do want to clear up something that I said on the previous video. I did say that Alex Jones's co-host looked like he was about to bust out laughing. Um, After looking at the video again, the guy, I noticed that, hey brother, how you doing? I'm guessing y'all can hear me. That's great. But how you doing, brother? But that guy was not his co-host. That was not Alex Jones's co-host. It looks like the guy. His name is Nick Fuentes, and he was Kanye West's guest. Fuentes, I don't know him, but people are saying that he is basically a white nationalist, and apparently he said some very scary and horrible things, and he supports hate groups. I just never personally knew who he was. I'm fine. How are you doing? I'm doing good, my brother. Just here in bed, laying up, comfortable after a long day, and coming off of a hectic work week, trying to put my feet up, you know. What about you? But but Fuentes was the guy in the hoodie. I guess it was a blue sweatshirt. He was the one that was sitting to the left of Alex Jones and Kanye on the right. But I just wanted to clear that up because I thought that that guy was with Alex Jones, but I guess it was just Fuentes, and he probably thought the antics were equally as entertaining and ridiculous. Um, but yeah, maybe I should remove the bubbles. I can't say I'm disappointed in Kanye West because I never really saw it for him. I never really liked him like that. I thought that at some point that he was having a real conversion, but it looks like he isn't. Even then, I doubt it because I spoke about that too previously. A couple videos ago that I was a little bit weary of his conversion because it seems like every year Kanye West picks up something new and then he kind of like is obsessed over that one thing and then pushes it and then the next year he whenever he discards of whatever that is moves on to something else. It's just always craziness with him, but he's that person, you know, he's that person. um but sorry, I'm always yawning. But I am just disturbed, you know. And the mask he was wearing on his face, it was so weird, like it had like zippers in the eyes, and there was one coming down the middle. Like this looks like some like weird dungeon fetish stuff. And I was watching Lovely T. I watch her uh, pretty much most of the time, and she did a video about Kanye West and how him and his ex-wife and their children were wearing these gimp masks, and that's the mask that was basically full on black with that like hose thing at the back. I didn't know that was uh, something that was you. Sorry, I'm looking out for my kid. It's like she's in there like flaming around in the bed. I don't want to wake her because I don't want her to get up and start demanding food. You know how that is. They're gonna ruin my night. Then they want to sit in my bed and eat in my bed and stuff, and then spill applesauce all over the sheets. I just can't. But anyway, Lovely T had did a video about him and said basically the mask that he was wearing, that was those black masks with a hose in the back. Those are used for like some type of sexual fetish, which I had no idea. I don't know what these fetishes are. I don't have a weird fetish for items. Certain, I don't have that, so I don't know. But so I guess people were saying it was kind of disturbing to see his little girl, his daughter, wearing that stuff. And I did not know that little girl was not that old. Didn't they say she was actually like, how old is she? She's like 9. His daughter, and she looks older than that, but she's like 9 years old. She's not that old, but she acts really old. That's something to watch. And he probably shouldn't be having his kids wear those weird mask. But I had no idea that like this mask that it had the kids wearing and Kim was wearing was like some weird sexual stuff. But that whole family's strange, very strange. I feel like my throat's getting dry again. But every time I get on here, something weird happens. But let's switch it up. Either he's nuts or he's doing it for attention. It's probably both, honestly, because the type of person that he is, he gets off on attention. I see a lot of like narcissistic traits, bipolar disorder. The list goes on. There's a lot going on with him, but he refuses to get help or take any medication. He goes on Alex Jones' show and makes a fool of himself. I'm just, disturbed by him altogether, and I really wish that people would just stop giving him a platform to talk. And I seen a video of him the other day talking about getting dropped from the whole Yeezy deal, and he was like saying something like, "Yeah, I got you," like basically say he did whatever he did on purpose. I don't know what his obsession is with Jewish people, but it's really disturbing. He is literally obsessed with them. All he does is talk about Jewish people, Jews this, Jews that. What is wrong with this guy? And it's like, I watched a little bit of the interview that he had with Alex Jones, not just like the popular, well, I shouldn't say popular, the most outrageous moments, but I tried to find like the longest version of it because I heard that it is actually 3 hours long and I couldn't find it on YouTube. And I definitely don't want to go to Alex Jones's website to watch it because I believe he has a subscription as well to his website, so people pay him directly to watch it through his platform online. And I don't want to give Alex Jones any of my money. I'm not willing to subscribe to Infowars or anything like that. But sorry. When I did watch it, there was a scene that I saw about the company Skims. So Skims is a company that he created with his ex-wife, the Kim Kardashian lady, and it has like I believe it has lingerie, swimwear, and activewear. Not sure about the activewear, but like really weird clothes with like these monochromatic colors. Like it was really weird. But I guess when they had like their divorce and they had to separate the assets and things like that. I guess when Kanye left, when they left the divorce and finished and completed it, he got 10% of Skims. No, 5% of Skims, and that's a stake in the company. And the interesting part is that he actually helped create that line with her, and he like created a lot of the palette, the colors, and the clothing. Like he had a huge part in it. Like she specifically, I remember them talking about this way back. Like she specifically asked him to like take a big role in that, and I think she was like very nervous about doing that on her own as well. So he took a huge role in that. He said he even like designed the logo and everything, the way it looks. So yeah, he had a big hand in the company altogether. And he used the term in the interview with Alex Jones. I, he said Skims is an extension of Yeezy. I guess he was not happy because Jared Kushner's, Jared Kushner's brother, like I think it's Josh Kushner and Jared Kushner, they both had some percentages in Skims. And Josh Kushner, he had about 10%, I believe. So I guess Kanye was saying with that 10% stake, it led him to have a lot of say in the company. So he's saying he has five and he helped create it, and Josh Kushner had 10%. And I guess for a long time he did not know that Josh and Jared Kushner had some percentages in this company. Um, that's something I think you should discuss with your ex-wife. That's a weird thing to bring up to me. I get his plight of like I helped design this and I have less percentage, but I think that's something he needs to address with your ex-wife. Then he made the comment and said Josh Kushner is so soft he would melt like toilet paper or butter. Oh my goodness, Kanye is nuts. He is nuts. Okay, and we really shouldn't. I know all of this can seem really funny at times because it's like he does these weird antics and it could seem funny, but it really isn't at the end of the day. Like, I saw a video today of this man and it was on the Young Turks YouTube. I don't watch them anymore because honestly, I think they're extreme leftists and I just don't align with their political views. Like, They're so extreme. Like, I really dislike that channel. But I did see a clip from there today, and there was a gentleman there, a Jewish guy, and he was talking about how horrible and like destructive the things that the things that Kanye West was saying. He was saying how destructive and horrible it was, and he was talking about a specific comment Kanye made about Hitler did not kill all those Jews. Like, this guy brought up these photos of his family members, and he's like, he killed my family. He killed 17 people in my family. He showed the photos of these people. I think it was some of the one was like his grandfather or his great grandfather, other people, aunts. Like, these were like real people. These were real souls. And he said Hitler like basically massacred them. Like, he killed them years ago. Like, he had these photos of them, and just seeing their faces in those photos, those people that was just ruthlessly massacred, it really just hurt my heart to see that. Because again, like, we're in that social media age, and with this current time that we're in, I think it's easy to disconnect from things when people make fun and make jokes, but it's really not funny. It's easy again to disconnect from those true life stories and the pain that people feel seeing that. It's very hurtful. When I'm looking at those people's faces, I could just, it just made me feel bad for them, because those are real souls, those real people that didn't deserve to die in that way, in such a horrible manner, and take their lives in general, that didn't deserve that. Again, when you don't have a face connected to something, it's easier to not feel anything. But I think people need to remember that these are real people, and horrible sufferings went behind this, and it's not funny to make light of these things and discounts people's experiences. And I feel like that's what Kanye West is doing. I said many years ago I had a vision about him. Not many years ago, but a couple years ago. Yeah, I had a vision about Kanye, and he had bees, like all these bees and bugs buzzing around his head. Hey, princess. Hey, my sister. How you doing, princess? But he had all these bees and bugs like buzzing all over around his head. And God was showing me in his vision that he is mentally unstable. And there was like a lot of voices talking in his head. Kanye has gone off the deep end. And I have been doing well. Good sister, how's the baby? Yeah, he's definitely gone off the deep end. You're right about that. Y'all pray for him. And whatever God leads you to pray for him, what in whatever manner, pray for him. It's honestly very embarrassing. Like, if I was a part of his family, his kids, or any extension of his family extension, I would be extremely embarrassed. She is doing great. That is good. She's looking so healthy. Good for her. I love me a little plumpy, healthy baby, okay? They just look so cute when they all plump and stuff. You just know they're getting well fed and taken care of so well. But but yes, it's it's sad. It's sad. And I don't really know how like look, Donald Trump has loyalty to no one, okay? Because he knows that Kanye West is trashing his son-in-law Kushner, Jared Kushner, and he said nothing. He has done it before this on Twitter, and now he's literally doing it on a public platform on video. And he talked trash about Jared Kushner and Josh Kushner. And isn't that isn't Kushner his daughter's husband? Don't they have kids together, your grandkids? I mean, but I guess whatever it takes to win the political war so that he can start his reelection campaign, he doesn't care, you know. And the fact that like Friggin' Kanye is aligning himself with this guy, this Nick Fuentes guy. Like, I gotta look this guy up. I gotta look up, like, cause the way people were talking about him, like I mentioned what was going on with Kanye at my job recently, and they said this guy's name Nick Fuentes, and they're like, "Oh, he's horrible. I know nothing about this guy. I have to look him up." But what I'm a little bit confused about is if Fuentes is a white supremacist and a neo-Nazi supporter, how does that make sense? Like his name isn't the last name Fuentes a Hispanic name? Isn't that? I'm pretty sure when I lived in New York City, I've met a couple Hispanic people with that last name Fuentes. So I'm really confused. Um, hey Kate, hey sister. I heard about the 10-year-old that offed his mom over a VR headset. These kids are getting besides themselves now. Oh gosh. Yes, sister, I saw that as well. I was shocked. I guess we could segue into that if you guys want to, but I don't know if you guys saw this story as well, but there's a little boy. He was a chubby little bastard, okay? And I'm saying that because I'm pissed about the story. I call him a chubby little bastard because I'm pissed about the story that he what he did to his mom, that manipulative little bastard. Okay? Um, I saw a photo of them two together as well. Um, this is a little black boy with like curly, I guess curly fro hair. I'm just giving you a description, and his mom was like had like how is her hair like? I guess it was like shoulder length, and it had like highlights in it. But I'm just describing what they looked like, okay? But it was a photo of them in the car together, and I guess people have. I guess that's the only photo I found of them. But um, But this is basically a black family, and they said that she have other kids as well. So this little boy, okay, the horrible little chubby bastard that killed his mom, he um he was well taken care of as well. The grandma had said like when it came to birthdays and stuff, his mom went all out for him, decorated everything all beautiful and stuff. This little boy done went on trips. He been to Disneyland, traveled with his mom many times. You know, she get him whatever he wants. Hardworking mom, just there for her kids. Great mom. Um, the family has said he has some rage issues. He like really like he has problems. So the mom even went as far as to put him in counseling to get him some help. And I guess the counselor has whatever the counselor had like told to the mom after I guess a couple sessions of like him assessing how bad the issues with the boy. After that happened, I don't know what the counselor said to the mom, but she decided to put up cameras in the home, and they said a week before the incident, they were plugged out. I guess maybe she had plugged them out, or it had to be her, or you know, or something like this. But so I'm just setting the picture for you. The boy is well taken care of, okay? And they said that there was an incident before the killing that the boy had filled up a water balloon of flammable liquid and almost burned down their living room in the house. I guess they said they had put out the fire, and he had tried to, he threw the balloon on one of his siblings as well. So I get if that part of the person where it touched, and if the balloon had exploded, it probably would have burned that person up and caught on fire as well. But they said like I guess a portion of their carpet was burned out, and he almost burned the whole place down. Like it was crazy. The little boy is like not right. So apparently, the mom had woke him up one morning. She woke him up at 6 a.m. This is when the incident happened, and he didn't want to be woken up. He was mad that she didn't want to be woken up. He was mad that she woke him up at 6 a.m. I don't know if he had to go to school or something, or had something to go somewhere to go, and she was getting him prepared, but she woke him up. After she woke him up, the boy had went and found the keys to her lockbox where her gun was, because a lot of people was like wondering how the heck did this kid have access to the gun. It wasn't just put out, like it was in a lockbox. He found the keys to it, opened it, took the gun. He went to the basement where she was doing their laundry, pointed the gun at her, and shot her in the head. And she died instantly. So I guess the next day, no, the same day, the little boy goes upstairs and then alerts his sibling, which is an older sibling, I believe was a female. And the girl called the police. She called the police. When the police get there, the police asked the little boy what happened. So they're like interrogating him, just find out what happened. He says that he went downstairs in the basement and he was playing with the gun and he was flailing the gun back and forth and then accidentally shot her. So at that point, when the police heard that and they saw that he was 10 years old, they're ruling it as an accident. After this happened, the police released the little boy to the grandmother so that he can stay with them because there's no parental guardian in the home at the moment because the mom is dead. So he stays with his grandma. I'm not sure where the other kids go if they go with grandma as well. But it's like the grandma had a feeling like there was just something, it was just not right with the whole story. So she sits him down one day because she remembers when the police were called and she came to the house to pick him up. He had the key in his hand, the key from the lockbox. So she remembered that. She asked him, "Where'd you get the key and stuff? Like, what really happened?" I guess after she mentioned the thing with the key, and she wanted to know more about how it happened, that's when he broke down crying and he said, "I'm sorry for everything and I'm sorry for killing my mom." So he broke down and he felt bad. But the strangest part is the day after he killed his mom, this kid, like literally the next day after he killed her, went on her Amazon account to order the headphones. And like during the time, like all the families like trying to like figure things out, and there's just the cops investigating, this little murderer gonna have the nerve to ask, did the headphones get here? No, not the headphones, did the VR headset get here? Did it get here? Like, you killed your mom. Yeah, he showed no remorse. Yes, he doesn't care. It's kind of like, kids get caught and they cry because they got caught, but they're not actually crying because they felt bad for doing something wrong. That's what happened. That is what happened. But this little monster, had a nice little cushy life, and he was well taken care of, living in a two-story house with his mom, and going on trips. And and someone that saw the story was saying, I bet that little boy had every game under the sun. I bet he had a Nintendo. I bet he had a PlayStation, Xbox, and he looked like the type of kid, had it all. And the grandma was saying that the boy just kind of seemed like very like off, and he was just never happy. Nothing was good enough. That's what she said about him. Nothing was good enough. He was only happy when he was receiving something, like when he was getting something. And it's like these kids, these nowadays with these kids and the consumerism, these kids are just full-fledged narcissistic demonic little bastards, okay? And it's not just this kid too that killed his mom. I see this all the time nowadays with these kids. It's like they juice their parents with like no thought of like finances or nothing. They don't care, and that they're just spending every dollar that you work for. It's because everything is about taking and consuming, because we live in an age of consumerism, and the kids pick up on it, and that's what they're about. They're just literally leeches, like demonic leeches, and they grow into adults that become demonic leeches. You know, it's a pattern. There's something very wrong with this child. And like, I was going through comments as well with other people talking about this story, and a couple people were saying that let the state take him, because people if they think like basically releasing him a couple years later after he does his time like into society is not a good idea. And I totally agree with that. He needs to be monitored, he needs to be watched, okay? Mm-mm-mm. I mean, just like they monitor other people as well, like sociopathic people who've like or psychopathic people who have received those diagnoses. Like those people watch them even whether they believe that or not. I've heard so many like stories about some government entities monitoring specific people and also Christians. So why aren't people like this monitored? They need to be watched. Okay, you can't just leave this type of people out there, because they were some women were making good points that he already killed his mom. He gonna go out there and kill other women if he's released into the streets. He's just a little, little privileged, little chubby bastard, that needs to, stay behind bars and get some mental help. They said that he's in the juvenile right now, the juvenile center, but they will be trying him as an adult. And honestly, it's fair. It is fair. Um, what did that cry? What did somebody say in the comments? Play adult games and win adult prizes. It's true. Sad. It made me sick, really sick, to know that he literally like headshot his mom and just casually went upstairs and told his sister, like, I think mom is dead. You know, some people don't agree with him being tried as an adult. Well, would they have felt the same way if that was their daughter? You know, if they were in the family? Because I know his grandma was saying that she hopes that they have some mercy on him. But let's be honest, whatever he is going through in his mind, this is not something that, basically what I'm saying is, whatever help he's going to receive, regardless, he's not someone that should be just left to his own devices. Okay, literally. And one other disturbing detail that I learned about the case was they said that the little boy, a little 10-year-old boy, had like trouble sleeping, and there were some parts of the night where he would just get up and he just couldn't sleep, and he kept complaining about voices and stuff. They said that I think he's demonically possessed, because he was saying he was complaining about voices, and there was two sisters. He mentioned something about two sisters, and he would always see these two sisters, but then when they asked him like to describe what they looked like, they, one was like an old. He described an old woman and an old man. Like it was very confusing, you know. But he said that he would hear voices, and at a specific times too, like around 4 a.m., 5 a.m. He'll hear voices, and but he was constantly like complaining about like voices in his head. So there's definitely a very strong mental health issue there. I don't even know if that's the right term, mental health issue, or so demonic possession. But I did want to point that out, that I heard this about the case. It wasn't one of those situations where a child was being brought up in a traumatic situation or household, and that changed them to become a monster, kind of like Jeffrey Dahmer. It wasn't a situation like that. This was literally a little boy that was privileged, that was well taken care of, that was being treated very well, and his needs were met constantly, to a point that he was spoiled. So that is what is disturbing about this, that people can go out of their way and do so many things for their children only for them to be still be psychopaths or murderers. You just never know. That's why you gotta stay prayed up and pray over your children, and plant those seeds of righteousness and the word of God in them, even as they're young people, because you don't know what kind of grip the devil has on this generation and the young people, and it's a heavy grip. So we gotta like ask Jesus Christ to come into the young generation and to show them the right way, because these fools out here, and I'm calling them fools because they are fools, and they have no guidance, they have no mental capacity to understand, sympathy, empathy, anything like that. They just consume. They just go on TikTok and make dance videos. Yeah, I don't like TikTok, and I keep trashing them. I hate TikTok, and it's like it's just like that's what they do. All they do is wear Nike outfits and get on TikTok and do dances and ask their parents for more and more stuff, and then sit on the internet all day every day not doing their homework. That's why they shouldn't have phones. If it was up to me, I wouldn't give them kids phones, but unfortunately, that would be a safety issue because you don't know who's out there. You know, in addition to worrying about these kids, you got more worry about these crazy adults, these pedos. So you got to give your kid a phone. You got to give them a cell phone, whether the phone is a flip phone or a smartphone. They just need to have a phone, and it's like you're on a double-edged sword because you don't want your kid to be on the internet, but they need a phone. And these weirdos are out there, so they got to be able to contact someone if anything goes wrong. Such a weird place to be as a parent. I didn't mean to go off on the whole phone thing, but I just I just felt a level of disgust like that I can't explain when I read that story. Cause now that I'm a mom, it just hit me a little bit different, and I have just a whole different perspective on things as a mother. Like I want to give you guys an example, and please do not take any offense to this because I'm gonna go into something a little bit sensitive. So recently, when I've been on YouTube, I've been seeing these videos about like autistic children or children that have autism, and apparently there's levels to the autism. There are some people that have like when they say the spectrum, I guess it really is a spectrum. They have like autism to the point where they don't need a lot of assistance, and they use the term, was it what was the term, low or high, was it low, oh gosh, it wasn't, that was the word, high functioning autism is what I have. Oh, okay, thank you, princess. So they're high functioning autism, and there's another word I was looking for too, low, high, I don't know if it's assistance, but it had something to do with the other people intervening to help that person. But I saw a couple of kids that had like low functioning, no, not Asperger's, no, low fun. Look, these people are on a spectrum where they needed a lot of assistance. I'll put it that way. Like these particular people who are autistic, so they were the kind of people that would need like a lifetime of help. Apparently, I didn't know on the spectrum there's also kids that, or like young adults that have autism so severely that they become violent. Like there was this Asian man that I saw that the his son was literally beating the crap out of him, and nose was bleeding, and he had like bruises all over his face and body, and this is something that happens to him regularly. I just felt so bad for him. That's low functioning autism. Okay, I see. But like, I just, as a parent, like I've just felt like horrible for him because I can't imagine living in that type of environment. How stressful and how horrible that would be. Just as anybody, like, because when you raise children, it is already like very difficult, and I would say the most difficult thing I've ever been through in my life, I consider myself a very strong person. I've endured a lot through my life, even though I'm not that old. But this I would say is very difficult. So I just can't imagine these parents like going, so hard for their kids and going over and above to try to accommodate them. And then the ones that have autism that are physically abusing their parents, like I just feel bad for them because they're in such a weak place. And I've seen another one like that where the son was beating the crap out of them. Like it was so bad. It was so bad. And so I was just very interested about the topic. And I went to Reddit and I saw a couple forums about it, like autism. And I saw two different groups of people. I saw parents that were talking about their experience with autism and raising autistic kids, and I saw a lot of autistic children responding back to those posts. And I would say this, and this might be offensive to some people, but take it how you want. How you want. I'll try to be as respectful as I can. Um, what I've noticed about this generation, and specifically those autistic children, too, like their responses. What I've noticed about this generation is, how do I say this? Their perspective on things, especially as a child, is very like distorted, and I didn't really care to hear their specific responses to these parents, because at the end of the day, they don't know what it's like dealing with themselves. Okay? Those stories that I read on there were horrific. And those parents were literally having mental breakdowns. And I can't even imagine what it's like to live like that. It is horrible. And, you know, what I'm about to say is very, very dark, and it can come off controversial, but I'm just repeating what I saw. I even saw one lady said that she wished she aborted her child. I was like, wow, God, wow. Those people literally, they pounced on her. I'm not gonna lie, they pounced on her. But the lady was saying like that's how horrible her life is. And I'm gonna be honest, like I'm a mom, my children are not. That's terrible to say, it is. Um, I'm a mom and I don't get a lot of help, but and it's very hard for me. And my kids are not autistic, but I can't imagine like adding that element to it, especially if they're on the spectrum where they're needing a tremendous amount of assistance and they're abusive. Like, um, I feel for those parents. You know, I just can't imagine ever like experiencing that. And the pain I saw like in those videos of those people, and my heart just goes out to them. And on the other side, the flip side, with the kids that have autism, it must be very difficult for them because they're not like able to process certain things they don't understand. You know, it's my low functioning autism uncle is in a group home due to his behavior. Wow. So what's his behavioral issue? Is he physically violent, or is he just very mouthy? Like what made that happen for him? But if you don't mind answering. But I'm just saying, as a mom, I struggle, and my kids are not autistic, but I struggle so much with them, like not having like physical rest in my body, mental strain constantly, financial strain. He can get aggressive. Wow, jeez. And when I was reading some of those forums, some of them parents were saying like they literally feel like committing suicide, and I just felt so bad for them. And I'm not gonna lie, as I am a mom, I've felt those ways before. Like I have felt that same way. You know, to be completely transparent, there's some days that I just feel like I just wish I was not here. And I don't want to say that, but it's true. And I have fight against those thoughts because I know a lot of times that is from just being worn out, like to your capacity, and like dealing with all of the load on your own all of the time. Like completely, when I say I literally do it alone, I mean that there's not one person that helps, not one. Um, and I'm just saying, like, I can't imagine going through that and having that extra element of stress. Like, that's tremendous. And I think that sometimes when people speak from a place of not experiencing something, it's not the same. I don't know what it's like to live those people's lives dealing with children with that autism that's literally physically abusing them, busting their noses, breaking their nose, and giving them black eyes. I saw a story with this one lady. Her son is autistic. He came home one day. I guess he wasn't on his medication, and her home was beautifully decorated. You could tell by the furniture and everything that she had up. He broke the countertops. He broke the TV. He broke everything in that house, and the video went viral. Everyone saw it. Like he destroyed everything. I saw those the granite countertop that she had, or was it marble? But it was a beautiful little kitchen, and everything was just beautifully decorated. You could tell. He destroyed that home. I can't imagine working all my years for the material things that you have. Not that it defines you, but it's very hard to work for these things. They're not free. You know, you put your blood, sweat, and tears into decorating and paying for all these things, only to have the autistic son come in there and destroy the your countertops, your TVs, and put holes in the wall. I would be devastated. I think they're using antimatter with CERN. Maybe. But I'm just saying, it's devastating, man, because horrendous crimes are increasing with killing. You're probably right, and I'm probably missing that element because the way things are looking, when the way people are acting, it's just monsters out there, okay? A lot of monsters. But like the whole point of me bringing up Reddit is just like I saw these kids talking in the forum and talking about basically disregarding the parents' experience and how the parents were saying like they wish they at times that they don't want to live, because it's just so much dealing with the kids, and it's hard, and they're coming on there to vent basically, and they use that term, I'm venting, and the kids was like, oh, they don't have a right to vent, they don't have a right to vent because they're just complaining. How do you think we feel? Like, you shut your dumb ass up, okay? Shut your ass up. I'm so sick of this like generation. Sorry to be cussing, but like I'm so sick of this generation and these kids like talking, like they're just talking just to talk, and it sounds good, but does it really mean anything? Because once they get older and they have to live those experiences, it's a whole different ball game. You might have a different appreciation for your parents, but until you're going through those things where you literally have no sleep, no rest, you're all of the load is on the parents to take care of every bill, wipe your ass, feed you, you know, and have the mental capacity to work out their own mental health and take care of their own physical health and their body and show up for you every day. It's very hard. It's very hard, and I feel like people don't give enough credit to good parents. There are a lot of bad parents out there, but there are good ones that are trying. And those, unfortunately, I always see those parents with the ungrateful kids, the little bastards, the little chubby bastards, like the one that killed his mom over a VR headset, you know? And unfortunately, I didn't get to grow up in an environment like that where I was, treated well. Like I had a very horrible upbringing where I was neglected and abused, physically and mentally. Like I was literally abused, and some days didn't went without eating. Didn't have proper clothes. Like I was ignored. Like so it's like when I meet these parents and I see that they kids have such a good life, and I'm like, man, I wish I had that. Maybe I'd be a more well-rounded person mentally. But my whole point of bringing this up is I just think that a lot these kids, like the generation that we're in right now, where the kids are very ungrateful, and they have these like little like speeches prepared, like, well, if you shouldn't feel that way as a parent, you should just be so happy to have me as a child, and how do you think we feel? Again, you shut up, okay? You shut up and give your parents some slack because it's not easy dealing with you. It's not easy dealing with kids. You literally live for free. You're living for free off of your parents while they literally take care of your every need. And if there's some days and sometimes where the parents just don't have the mental strength to deal with you, just go and do something else. Go read a book or something, or watch some TV, and maybe tomorrow they might have the patience to deal with your annoying little butt. But I just find some of these kids are just the exact word, ungrateful, very ungrateful, and I'm just sick of them. Just, honestly, I am. If you're blessed enough to have caring, good parents, show them some appreciation. You don't have to give them anything, but show them some appreciation, but just by not being a jerk. Don't be a jerk to your parents. A lot of us didn't have good parents. But I'm just a little bit sickened by their like responses in those Reddit posts. Like they don't have a right to vent. Don't demonize people because of what their age is. Everybody's going through something. Everyone. Just because they're your parents doesn't mean that they don't go through things. It's just like I see moms and stuff dealing with kids like while I'm going through Walmart, and these kids are just like such little pests, and they just like don't give their parents the time of day. Like you just have to like understand. And I know that some of them are at ages where they just don't pick up on those things, but that does not make it any easier. And the worst thing you can do as a parent as well is judge other parents and try to make them feel like they're not doing enough because you don't know their situation. And you're probably not doing a better job than them. More than likely, you're not. You're probably doing worse. Okay? And a lot of those same idiots that tell people what to do is because they have insecurity within themselves. And it's easier to judge somebody else because you're looking on the outside. But if they looked on their own inside, they would probably need a lot of work and a lot of prayer. But I don't know. I just feel like some of these darn kids feel like their parents should just be so lucky to have them. Come on. Come on. And then, like, one lady, she used the word burden, that she felt like her autistic kid was a burden. And I want to be really honest when I say that. I say this at times with what I was seeing, what those people were writing, that is a huge burden at times, especially if you're the type that needs a tremendous amount of assistance, where you can't even wipe your own butt. Like that's hard to deal with. That's a very hard. And then at the same time, I can't imagine like these parents feeling like content with themselves because if they go to old age, or where they're not able to care for their kids, who the heck is going to do it? Because there's some of them that have autism so severely that they would never be able to live on their own. So these parents probably worry about them. That is a huge burden. I think sometimes people don't like when people use those words because it has a negative connotation, but it perfectly describes the situation. It is a huge burden to deal with somebody that far on the spectrum, especially if they're violent. Again, I had no idea that there was children that dealt with autism that were physically violent. I'm just learning this, but I saw those videos of the man literally bleeding from his nose. How dare you tell these people that they don't have the right to vent? They can vent as much as they want, okay? And they can say that is a burden because it is. It's a burden. It is a burden. But but a lot of us are bearing our burdens. It is a burden. There are other burdens in life. It's difficult. It's very difficult to deal with that. And on top of dealing with your kids, you are financially responsible for every need that they have. That's hard. That's very hard. They're very expensive. I'm just saying, cut these people some slack. Jeez. I think people watch too much damn TV because they watch TV. They see these little picture perfect families, and they see that the mom or dad sits down and have these conversation with their kids and lie to their kids basically and tell them a farce and tell them, little Johnny, don't worry about breaking that vase in the TV and the stove and lighting the living room on fire. At the end of the day, little Johnny, I love you, son, and you are the best thing that ever happened to me. And I never regret any day that you destroyed my home. I don't regret it because I love you, son. Heck no. Get your little bad self and clean this place up and fix this stuff. Better go get you a summer job and replace the TV and the oven. What the heck? No. Little bad self. These movies lie to you, bad kids. You bad damn kids. And these movies lying to you. If you act that way, if you act like a menace, you are a burden to your family. You're a burden. You better get your behavior together, little Timmy. Get it together, little Timmy, or you're gonna go to an orphanage. You know, these bad kids, just bad. You got no type of sense. Jeez. But anyway, I do want to retouch on the whole thing of me saying like the parents said they felt suicidal, and at times, I felt like that. Like it is hard, But I pray against those things. Please, y'all, don't think I'm over here like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna, trying to kill. No, no, no. We all know as Christians what that S word leads to. Um, I'm just saying, like the level of struggle and sometimes stress makes me feel that way. More so, not like death, but more like ceasing to exist. But we all know that does not work out that way. It don't work that way. But I pray against it every day, and I try very hard. Um, I try very hard to um, recharge myself, give myself a minute, and come back. But it is hard. I acknowledge that. And it's no joke. It's not a joking matter. Having children, dealing with them, it is very hard. And what disappoints me is you can put in all the effort in the world, grow your kids, try to make them good people, and they still might end up being monsters. Just like this situation with that little boy. But I guess you gotta take it in strides, you gotta pray. And if it does go that way, just know that the deeds of the son is not the deeds of the father or the burdens of the father. Let that go. As hard as that sounds, I never even want to be in that situation. Never. But it's important to start while they're young, to teach them properly. Responsibility, tough love at times too. Not all tough love, because that's not right. And it could really mess up a kid, but sometimes tough love. But teach your kids the right way. Teach them about Jesus. And I feel like this is the element that's missing in our generation and this society. They don't know God. The kids need to know God. I'm in this with, you guys keep what you have, hold on to what you have. Jesus is really coming back because this world is really passing away, and the people in it, it's just, they're not right, you know. I also want to wrap this up with, if you have autism, don't think I'm dissing you. I'm really not. But I just want you to understand that if you're on the receiving end of the care and the love of your parents, it is very difficult for these people. What I'm trying to open up your mind to is understand that your perspective is not the only perspective. That's all. That it is difficult for these people. Again, I'm not experiencing this specifically. All I know is from my perspective as a mom and how hard that is. But to add that extra element, it must be hard for these people, especially the ones that are striving to be good parents. And wanting to make sure that their kids have everything that they need spiritually, mentally, physically, all of that. Just give them some slack, man. You know, and sometimes give these people a break. Give them a break, man. They're trying. To the people that are parents to autistic children, man, I take my hat off to y'all. Y'all do a tough job. I think it's crazy how people say things like people that do hospice care, that that's a tough job and it's hard on the body. What do you think these people are doing with their own kids? Just because it's their kids, you don't, you know, label it the same thing, but they're literally their caretaker, their nurse, there are all of those things in one. You know, meanwhile, some of these places, when they do hospice care, they have a whole team helping them with these people. You probably got one person that does the bath, another person that does the physical therapy, another person that cooks the food. But with these parents, they're all of that for their kids. They're all of that in one. So it's very hard for them. I could see that it's very hard. And I did watch a lot of those videos to kind of see the experiences of the kids and the parents. It's difficult, you know. Again, I tip my hat to you guys, you parents that deal with that. It's tough pill to swallow, man. Who is hard. And I pray for y'all in Jesus' name. Lord, give them the strength. You know, give them the strength, give them guidance. The load of that all is hard, especially the the people that have it so bad that again that they would never be able to be independent. It's a very hard. You worry about them to their deathbed. They're worried about these people, like, and I don't blame them. You know, may Lord Jesus bless all of you that deal with this, and some of you as well that are dealing with older parents, elderly parents, kids that are dealing with that. You know, take care of them. It's very hard. It's difficult on the body. You know, it's heavy. It's strenuous. Really, over years, doing that type of thing breaks your body down. You know, destroys your mental health at times. It's physically draining. But anyway, may the Lord bless you. May He shine His light upon you. May the God of the Bible give you peace, not only today and forever and ever. And those who believe say amen. I want to thank you guys, and all glory to the Lord Jesus Christ. I want to thank you, all of you guys, for coming in and talking with me. Whether you agree with me or you disagree with me, I just appreciate you all. And may the Lord Jesus bless you all. Good night. Good night, y'all.